Duh.
When daily tasks become too painful, it's time for change. Let our pain management and wellness practice, Valentine Integrative Health, elevate your quality of life and ease your discomfort. Visit us at valentineintegrativehealth.com and start your journey to a fuller life.
Off the roof.
Hello.
And welcome to the show.
Was I outside? I took a nap. This is my nap side right here. So I was like,
Maps.
hello. Welcome to the
Welcome.
Allison and Marc podcast.
Welcome.
Yeah.
How you doing?
Do you want me to do? Let's do our mission statement.
Yes.
Okay. What's happening?
You look amazing.
Oh my
How about a crush on you?
Yes. 24 years, y'all. 24 years.
I
All
got a
right.
crush on this one.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Go ahead.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I interrupted you. See?
Yes,
See
it's
that?
my flow.
Go ahead.
Okay. Never mind. I don't want to do it now. Welcome to the Allison and Marc podcast.
Babe, do the thing. What's the deal? What's the deal? Do the deal.
Okay. Take two. Welcome to the Allison and Marc podcast. We are two Gen X, because I'm proud of it.
Wakanda.
Gen X media pros who've been married for 24 years. We got 3 grown kids. And on this podcast, we talk about everything from politics to pop culture, a little bit of humor, and a whole lot of love.
A little bit
So
of
that's
humor.
where you are.
That's where you are.
That's where you are. Welcome.
And
Welcome.
we got Carl with a K is going to join us, babe.
All right.
But before, I wanted to kick it off with this little positive message that I saw online that reminded me of your late father. But also just a great message from a kid. What do they say? From the mouth of babes.
From the mouth of babes.
Did they say is it from the mouths of babes?
From the mouth. So from the mouth of babes.
Of babes?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here it is. If you needed something to remind you of who you are and how powerful you are,
That's right.
let's start off with this young man.
If he could do it,
This isn't a movie.
he believed in himself. And you can too.
Oh man, you gonna put it on me like that?
You can do anything that you want. You can get singing lessons, get a better job, make more money. You could be even like rich. You could live in the White House someday. You could be president.
Me?
Do what you want to do. It's not up to other people.
It's true.
It's up to you.
So many people don't really understand that.
It's hard because life starts.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Life starts, and you gotta pay the bills. You gotta take care of kids. You gotta do it, and sometimes it's hard. But here is a lesson that hit me hard. Speaking of that, and there is truth in here for me. I talked to you when it happened, but have you all seen this Netflix show? It's very dark. It's very difficult, but it's called Baby Reindeer. And it's essentially about this guy, the real guy who was stalked. He is also stars in it. He produced it, created it, and he brought it to Netflix. And it's about his case of being stalked, like to the point of just insanity, which is what it was, the woman who was stalking him. And but at the end, so he's trying to do this, and he has all this other stuff in his the baggage that he has. He had he'd been a struggling comedian. He had suffered sexual trauma in his past at the hands. He was always trying to make it in show business. So he had been groomed and assaulted by a man whom he trusted in the business. So that started to question a lot of things for him. All of these things. So he's doing his routine at the end, and this woman is making his life hell, seriously, talking to us all this. And he's on stage, and you can look at this, it's a YouTube video that exists. This guy really did it. I'll get his name, but when he wasn't getting any reaction from the crowd, he just sat there and he started telling his truth. This is who I am. This is it for me. I'm not going to try to do this again. He went into everything. He poured it out. It became more of like a speech or really a therapy session. The audience is sitting there stunned. But one person in the audience recorded it, put it on YouTube, because that's what we do now. And he becomes this viral sensation. People, they want to, protect this man at all costs. We hear you. We've been there. And he becomes the most successful he has ever been in his career, with comedy gigs, with appearances on podcasts, and, on a national stage. So he was a struggling victim of extreme sexual violence, and was very conflicted, and now had become the center of this stalker who was very violent. But when he told his truth and he let all that other stuff go, the facade of it, and he said he wanted to be in show business because he could hide behind show business, because you don't question celebrities. But when he told his truth, that's when he broke through, right? And so just like what my little man is saying there, it's like when you totally live in that truth, and that whomever you see as a greater power than yourself, God, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, the universe, whoever it is, once you know that you're connected to that, and you know that there is no limitation in this universe for you, but you have to be connected to it in your truth, there is no stopping you. And that really hit me hard, because I have felt for a long time that I have a message inside of me that I would like to get out, but because of but that's not what I do. Like, I don't do the speeches and all that as much as some other people do, but it's in me, and I know that that's waiting to break out. So thank you for that, because from the mouth of babes, and also knowing that you are connected and covered, and there is because what is failure? But like this guy, he hit rock bottom. Y'all, have you seen Baby Reindeer? He hit rock bottom on this thing, but it was only it was like a bottom, but it was like a trampoline bottom, boop. So he was on the bottom, but you had to get to the bottom like on a trampoline to be propelled up to the top.
Yeah, definitely. And if you,
it's serious.
Yeah, it's heavy. It's heavy. If you're
Baby Reindeer is heavy. I'm not really talking about that. I'm talking about.
Don't check that. Yeah,
I'm talking about. It reminded me
Yeah.
that until he lived in his total, it's not even that. You don't have to, if you have trauma in your life, if you have this and that, you don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to do anything. But imagine the power if you shared that story of how it can help other people. And in the meantime, propel you to a space where you're able to do other things. You know, I live in my truth now. And now people want to be connected to me. So I have this product line of candles. I don't know, calming candles. Yeah. People want to buy them because they feel connected. I write books. So that's what, you don't have to watch Baby Reindeer. I'm saying it's like the message hit me hard.
Definitely. And in the speaker space, I noticed that propels most people is their stories, most of them challenging, overcoming, getting through, pushing through, getting over, getting under. You know, like you say,
you got to do.
Why did this happen?
Go through.
Like you say, your story somebody else can relate and get fired up about it. And so, and also, babe, you talk about speaking. Bootsy's on here. Okay. What you have done throughout the decades is you have touched the young people with your story and being who you are in that conversation. Because you speak to them a lot.
Oh
And you're
yeah, no,
on
I
that
love
program.
yeah. No,
On that program, I
I
think
love
you
that.
really have
Yeah,
living students who have been motivated through all that you've done.
yeah, no, and I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And that's, it's if not for the kids, right? But what I'm also saying is, and it's not limited to it, but women out there, I talk a lot to some of my colleagues through the years about the invisible woman syndrome. I was just talking to one of my sweet colleagues today about it, where literally you can feel invisible in a room. Like, hi, am I here? Like, do you see me? Because either like you're not on a really superficial level, I'm not attractive to like the people, the men that are around. And I'm like, is anybody talking to me? Especially if we start to age, we talk about that, but also in the workplace, like, and I've literally said in meetings, did you not hear me just say that same thing that person just said?
Mhm.
Like, because, and you get, what happens is you get frustrated and angry. So how do you turn that around then? So I feel like, yeah, I love talking to young people who are trying to do what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm also talking about a more universal message, because I've got a lot to say, but some of it would be hard to say and still have a job.
Well,
So that's that.
maybe not a job, but a career.
Maybe not a job, but a
Wait a minute.
passion. All right. You want to get into it? So what we have tried to do this week, we're doing a little something.
Babe, don't do it.
Good things about that show. Yeah, it is good. It's dark, but it's good. What we try to do, because there's so many things by the time we sit down that we just get to vibing and talking and all of that. Vibing and talking, that we're like, oh, I meant to talk about this. So what we tried to do in this segment, because we say we talk about this, that, and the third, is try to remember some things that happened over the week. What is dominating everything, and I saw it on CBS Mornings today.
Wow.
I work on the CBS affiliate in Washington, if you're not checking in from the DMV. But this Drake and Kendrick Lamar thing, like, so now today or yesterday, whenever it was, somebody.
Let's have Carl. Carl just joined us. He's
Okay, somebody like one of the Carl, somebody shot one of the security guards at Drake's house. Like, was it by accident? Was it connected? I don't know.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Right, but Carl, I need to know, was like Pearl Bailey and Della Reese, were they having these sort of whatever the equivalent jazz battles?
I guess I would probably put that with Betty Davis and Joan Crawford.
Betty Davis.
Well,
and Joan Crawford.
let me say this.
So this ain't nothing new.
Well, here's the reality with jazz. How jazz did it, which is the way you're supposed to do it, is jazz players jammed all the time. So when you came to Washington, D.C., if you're the best, whatever you say you are, after you play your gig, you got paid for by the white folks usually. You go the late nights and you jam with the local musicians.
You go to Bohemian
Right.
Caverns.
Yeah. And so the thing about it, what they did, that rappers don't do, is they come. I come see you in your town and get on stage, and it kills everything. Because if you ain't who you say you are, everybody knows. That's Carl K is the baddest pianist in the world. How do we know? I saw him in Kansas City go up against One-Legged Louie. I saw him in Charleston go against Simpy Jackson. But that's what they did. They didn't talk. They weren't talking about it. They were being about it.
Right.
Playing with each other.
So the battle is always. Anyway,
Well, that was, remember, that's how it went in the beginning of rap. That's what they used to do. It used to be a straight battle.
And then we had that little flare up, East Coast, West Coast, and I was like,
yeah,
okay.
that's when it started getting out of hand. But the original was that they would just basically, and actually I think there was a TV show on HBO that they would just battle rap. And then the audience would be like, yo, he took you, he has to go to the next level, and you go home.
Yeah.
But now it's to the point that people, I mean, especially that when I heard somebody shooting, I'm like, but you don't even work for Drake or Kendrick. I'm like,
the people, it really, I'm not gonna say it's a tool used to keep us behind, but I might just say a tool used to keep us behind, because these, even like both, I like both of them. I'm a bigger fan of Kendrick Lamar. But what you said about a Drake, those things, if they're not true, and if they are true, either way,
pretty serious,
it's heartbreaking. And the same thing with Drake said about Kendrick Lamar. Like, what other group of people are tearing each other down at this level? and you can't not help believe that it's all plot and plan. You know,
Yeah.
because these are real words. These are
allegations of
that are amplified.
Pedophilia and trafficking. So, all right. Come on, Carl.
Yeah, that was it's getting kind of deep. I mean, before it was just like I'm a better rapper than you. Now it's like getting personal and too crazy. Yeah. But
I remember in Joan and in the neighborhood. Carl, you remember when it started to spread out to your family members, like they call your mama by her first name.
Don't talk about my mama.
Remember that? They start calling your mom by your first name, and so if your mom was off the chain, my mother told me, she said, if
your mom came outside in the bathrobe,
they'd be like, "What's up? What's up, Mark? What's Jackie doing?" They start doing that stuff when they start coming. But my mom told me, she said, if you ever fight somebody over me, you're gonna be in trouble because whatever they're saying is not true. And what I learned early on was when it's not true, you can live with it. But the kids whose moms it was true, they would be going off. It would end terribly. It would end terribly.
Yeah, but, it's like you had those odd parents, and if you said something true about them, then that's when the fight would start.
Like my mom used to wear candies, mules. Y'all, who remembers the candies? They like basically
the colored souls.
Like think about the movie Grease, how at the end Olivia Newton-John had on the candies, like the mule with the thing. And I don't know why that was a buzz because she looked cute in her candies. But it was like, oh yeah, my mom does wear candies. Yeah. Who cares? It's so stupid. Anyway, let's get to it. What's going on, Carl? How are you feeling?
No, everything's good. Got no complaints. Busy week. I'm going to be out at Around the Wheels tonight doing music trivia, all 80s and 90s. Doing music trivia. So
come on now, Carl. Shout out to Dan Wilder.
One of the questions is what instrument does the gospel artist Jeff Majors play?
Why are you playing, Carl? You play too much. Why are you
Jeff's still on his harp like that?
Scared 2000.
Carl is playing anybody that worked with Radio 1. This regime, shout out to Dan Wilder. Shout out to Dan Wilder, the voice. Who has it? Raise your hand if you haven't come under the Radio 1 flag. I think everybody in this audience has. Yes, the harp.
But that's not one for today.
And this played in Dad's church, right, babe?
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
All right. So the first one today is going to be Lonnie Johnson. He won a $72 million dispute over royalties with Hasbro, the toy company, for inventing what? Was it the Cabbage Patch Dolls, the Tickle Me Elmo, or the Super Soaker?
Super Soaker is my answer.
Interesting. You might have stumped me on this one. Cabbage Patch Dolls.
Got to go with the missus.
Yeah.
It was the Super Soaker.
Yeah,
he was a rocket scientist, actually.
Yeah.
And then
how much money did he get from that? He won
72 million plus.
It's so funny.
That's a lot of Super Soakers.
You guys, you tricked me, Carl, because that was smooth how you did that. We were talking about jazz, and then you said, "What's his name? Lonnie Liston." What's that guy's name?
Oh, you think it's Lonnie Liston?
You had me over there, so I was like, "He ain't invented nothing." Of course, the Super Soaker guy.
The Super Soaker.
Well played, Carl.
One of the Nerfs too. One of the the Nerfs that shoot out.
Oh wow!
Too, also, all right. We're going to do a little bit of music, going back a little bit to the disco era.
Oh, I love it.
What was the first and only Grammy Award for Best Disco Record? Was it Last Dance by Donna Summer, I Will Survive, or Don't Stop Till You Get Enough?
Well, I think, first of all, none of us consider Don't Stop Till You Get Enough a disco record. It's a Jackson record.
So
no, I said about I'm alone on it.
Is that the answer then? I'll go with the late great Donna Summer.
Well, you should go with the. Mark has an answer, so I'll stop there.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It's my homegirl from Newark, New Jersey, Gloria Gaynor. I Will Survive. I Will Survive.
Yeah, we ain't paying out. Raymond would have got paid tonight.
Yes, indees. Because and that's the only reason.
That song deserves a damn Grammy.
You talk about it. I have sung that song so many times.
Mainly after me and Allison.
It seemed to start out as a breakup song. Of course, that's what it's actually about. But then it just turned into this whole women's
That
empowerment
was the
theme.
anthem. Yeah.
And but the reason why it's the only one is because that following year, I don't know if you remember there was a big backlash against disco.
Yeah.
All the
Oh, I
all,
hate that.
doll.
I
all,
hate that.
all the non-melanated people who couldn't dance hated disco.
Well, and I
And
was,
they
I was
and they
reading
blew,
something about that. Like people went and bought albums. Like somebody brought it like a Stevie Wonder, one of the classic albums, just to like burn it, to throw it in the
mhm.
trash. I think it was a real. What I find
There was a big bonfire at
a big
Chicago
bonfire.
at the Chicago Cubs game.
Right.
Yeah.
So all kinds.
Mhm.
And so for me, that is really, that's so deep about our society, because not just melanated and non-melanated, but I also think all the races were coming together dancing.
Mhm.
We had different sexual
The
identities
sexualities.
coming together,
Mhm.
and somebody at the top was like, no, we can't have this sort of unity.
Yeah.
So I think it was really deep.
Yeah.
Well, the
Really
downfall,
different.
it got really bad when Rod Stewart did a disco song and Mick Jagger did a disco song. They were like, "Oh, we can't have this."
Yeah, it's very disappointing. We always society. Yeah, that's the documentary. Bootsy's on it and talking about the documentary that I watched
Mhm.
about it, and it was so, the vitriol and the hatred. It's like,
Sounds
This is a-
familiar.
this is about music, or what's this about?
You know what it's about?
So yeah, but it's not just it's people coming together,
Yeah.
and it's
Right.
not
That's what it's about.
just right, but
The dominant culture not being ready for it, even in 2024.
I don't
Mhm.
I don't think it's the dominant. I think it is the
It-
top of the tippity top.
That-
Whatever that group is that benefits from us being divided down here in the 99th percentile
Yeah.
of everything. That's what I think. It's
Well,
not.
Well, what I mean that I think at the very top, they're the ones that keep it going.
Right.
But just like with this Trump demo, sadly, within our neighborhoods, our communities, there's a dynamic. I don't know if it's fear, ignorance, or both, that allows it to keep coming. Because when you know people, it's almost like when somebody's saying something crazy about somebody, and it's not true. But you know the people. You have coworkers you work with. You've been to people's homes. You have whatever.
Mhm.
People can't just spew it, and you believe it. But the
Right.
people who don't have the real relationship, and it's just based on what they see on television or hear on the radio, then that's what you could easily exploit that. That's all I'm saying. So, yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Gloria Gaynor, go ahead, girl.
And our last one. What president signed the bill making MLK Day a federal holiday?
Okay.
Was it Ronald Reagan, Jimmy Carter, or Bill Clinton?
It was.
I don't think it was Ronald Reagan.
Well, let's
Jimmy
see.
Carter
Hold on now.
seems like he would, and Clinton seems too late. I don't know for sure.
Now,
Can anybody help us?
You said looking at the
I'm going to
birthday?
say Carter. I'm going to say
Okay.
Carter. Oh, somebody said Reagan. Is that true? Bootsy, was it Reagan?
Boots is a political.
Yeah, okay.
Well,
I see the timing is right, because it seems like Carter was too early, Clinton was too late. I'm gonna go with Bootsy.
well, Carl with a K. Well, there you go again.
Good job, Bootsy.
That's the
Good
Reagan
job, Bootsy.
Yeah.
In 1986, he signed it. It's kind of like one of those things. The push was too strong.
Right.
The temperature was right for it, and if he didn't, because he had so many other things going against us, that okay, let me just sign this little federal holiday, and then we'll figure that out later.
Yep. Okay.
Well, the
I learned
crazy
something.
part
I
is-
did not realize that.
And that it's funny because
the
Republicans have
timing
used that. They've used those moments
Yes.
like on
Yes.
the printouts, because most of these.
Well, they also say the party of Abraham
Yeah,
Lincoln.
right.
Yeah,
So always
they-
that
yeah,
Friday of Abraham Lincoln, civil rights legislation signed by
LBJ.
Mhm.
LBJ, but then also wasn't a Republican who proposed affirmative action or something. They go back.
Right.
They pull that out this time around voting time. Well, thank you so much, Carl with a K.
Good luck.
Thank
can
you
I-
so much.
How can our viewers catch up with you?
You can catch up with me at my website, soultrivia.net, or you can see me on Facebook at blacktrivianetwork.com. and Black Trivia Network on YouTube. I do a live stream every Monday. Tonight, I'll be at TGI Fridays in Arundel Mills, and tomorrow, TGI Fridays in Owings Mills. And once again, tonight and tomorrow is going to be all about the music of the 80s and 90s.
Okay, well, I'm going to ask you to leave us with this and commence to chatting in the chat.
Yes.
Greatest boy group, boy group or whatever, of the 90s. Go, Carl. Greatest one. You got one.
The boy group?
Yeah. So, and I hate to say boy because I'm thinking of like a Jodeci or Belle Biv DeVoe or the greatest one in your opinion.
Okay, are we talking young group or are you just talking a male group?
I'm talking male group now, but I'm not talking like the Spinners.
Okay. So
with their last album, I'm talking about like.
I'd say one of the premier I would say Boys to Men.
Okay, get to chatting. Who was the best in the 90s?
Okay.
Carl, thank you so much. You're always so fun.
Thanks,
I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate being here with you guys each week. So I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll see you guys see some people out and about in the streets.
That's right. When you see them next week, or see them in the streets. Carl with a K, ladies and gentlemen. Love it. So what you talking about? Birthday? Yes.
My daughter's calling.
Which one?
Skylar's calling.
Oh, hi, Skylar.
It's me and my parents. I'll call you back, Sky.
Boys to Men, the 90s.
Boys to Men.
The 90s. Boys to
That's
Men.
what Carl said, Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
I love me some like Jodeci.
Would Jodeci be considered 90s?
I think so.
Because I think Jodeci set the pace for, I think, not Boys to Men, but like the Drew Hills and the other boy groups that came out of the 90s.
Yeah.
New Edition, Boys to Men.
I'm trying to see. Yeah.
I was thinking New Edition is really aging into a great old super group, aren't they?
I love it.
As far as like the steps and the look and like who they're catering to.
Love it.
Boys to Men.
New Edition. I was trying to look at
I'm a big Jodeci fan. I'm a big Drew Hill fan.
And we got to say that Mary J. Blige held it down in the 90s, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right.
Indubitably.
All righty. Want to get into it? I want to talk about. I have a couple of things to talk about today,
yes.
But let's talk about. You want to start with the Drake and Kendrick, or did we already do that?
I think we did enough of Drake and Kendrick. Yeah. At the end of the day, maybe final thoughts on it.
I think Drake came out with something else right after that really scathing one, basically where Kendrick basically said that hide your young girls around Drake.
Yeah, he put that on kind of like
peepers. Yeah. So that's kind of rough, but yeah. And then Sydney, our oldest, was telling me that basically Drake just dropped something. Was like, what? No, I'm not. So it's like, okay, I don't know.
You're funny.
Yeah.
That was the song. The song was, no, I'm not.
Right. What?
Okay.
I know you are, but what am I? I'm just saying. Okay.
You're
so
funny.
one of my things. So I sent you a couple of topics, but I guess you did not get them this week that I wanted to chit chat about. So I think I'm going off the dome. And I'll just say. So I was not aware, but that LeBron James and his son Bronny James.
Oh yeah.
So he has said that if now fact check me because I don't have it in front of me, but if an NBA team takes his son Bronny, who I guess isn't, when you think like the king, if you think LeBron, he's not really like that, whatever. But if you take Bronny, then I'll come with it. It's a package deal because one of LeBron James, you should have that clip ready for that little boy saying LeBron James. One of LeBron James's wishes was to play with his son. But like, if you're Bronny, would you want to be on a team with your dad, who is like the king of?
Yeah.
You do.
Because I want to win.
Oh, I don't.
No, yeah, I think it's what your dad wants. Your dad wants it. I mean, how many opportunities are you going to chance to play with your dad? Come on. Now.
Okay, so you feel like that's a valid thing.
Valid only because he's LeBron James. Yeah, and so his son.
But if you're his son, would you want to play on the same team as your dad? Like, who I think that's possibly one of the greatest of all time?
Yeah, he's not. His son is not.
Right, yeah.
His son is not, but his son is gifted athletically.
Okay.
He's not there yet. He's he'll be like I think a strong role player in the league, but Why not get a chance to play with your dad before he retires? That's amazing, man.
Okay.
Period. Wouldn't that be? I mean, that doesn't happen.
Okay. Then good. Okay, I like that. I'm just, I feel like it's so competitive and so in that
be criticized
moment,
and people
right,
hate on you
right.
and da. But you don't like conflict, babe. These little kids, they love it.
Okay.
They love it.
Okay.
No, they don't.
They don't?
Yeah, I don't think they. I don't think his dad didn't love it. His dad was not cut from the same cloth of those players who were tough skinned back in the day. But then again, let me stop because hell yeah, he had that hairline thing his whole career and didn't even flinch. LeBron didn't give a damn what y'all was saying.
I think LeBron did since he had
I'm saying it was crazy the whole time. He didn't ever, you're right. You know what I'm saying? He kept it. He kept it alive. He keep hope alive.
Well, I think when you're proving yourself on the basketball court, then at the top of the game,
but getting cracked on is merciless. Speaking of getting cracked on, the Tom Brady roast. That was
yeah, Tom Brady.
Let's see. Allison Seymour said the group question, old edition
as opposed to new edition.
Michael for just a moment.
It is. It definitely is. It definitely is a moment. Who else is going to do this? Mm-hmm. But I'm just saying, if you're the son, do you want that? It's almost like when something happens at school and you don't want your mama to like go in and bust somebody out. I'll do it myself, but okay. So like now you're on the court with your dad, who is like if they were both mediocre players, then that would be cool.
Well, no, his dad's going to give him the best outcome.
Okay.
And it's a special moment. You know what I mean?
So the Tom Brady roast.
So I got a clip for you.
It was so rough. Did you all see this? It was a live event hosted by Kevin Hart.
Yeah, well done.
I remember as a kid watching roast with like Dean Martin and that one guy who drank all the time.
Yeah, you got Foster,
whatever his name is. Yeah. This thing
Red Skelton.
I could not have a roast and then people crack on me so hard and then be like, "Yeah, man, but I love you. You know, it's all jokes."
That's the question.
Did you
that's the question this? For the chat.
Did you all see
Could you take a roast? I've been roasted before, so yes, I can take a roast. Baby, you say you cannot take a roast.
I could never take a roast.
Okay, so I thought this was a cool moment at the roast.
Who's laughing now, Tom? Not you, because your face can't move and you don't have a sense of humor.
You and Bill are so far apart from each other. I just feel like, why do y'all take a shot together, man? Yeah, Robert wants to do it. Bill, let's make the uncomfortable uncomfortable, right? Pour Bill a shot. Robert's here. Wait, Bill, don't move. Bill, this is a big moment, Bill. Stay right here.
I wanted to say this is the greatest coach in the history of the game that did what no one else has done. And having Tom Brady and him was the greatest honor the good Lord gave me. So, cheers.
Let's go. Drink it. A black man made that happen.
Funny. That was funny. What wasn't funny was like some of the other things being said, like about his divorce and the whole thing. And then I think Kim Kardashian gets up there and is booed mercilessly. It's like this environment, man, I can't do it. It reminds me of toxic masculinity.
Well, there's definitely a locker room.
Yeah.
I remember I had my Reinventing Marc Clarke party, and the comedian was joking on me. My daughters, they get it from their mom. They don't play. They were not happy with Larry.
Don't you talk about my daddy? When I was little,
they talk about me, but they can't let anybody else talk about me.
When I was little, it was so deep with my dad. Like my big cousins would joke with me about it. Why is it funny? I'm gonna beat your daddy up. No, you're not. I'm 3 years old.
You're fighting them, baby.
I'm fighting. Yeah.
Well, you are definitely a fighter.
Could you be roasted? I could not be roasted.
Here we go. Yeah, y'all didn't. Nobody responded. Okay, power of tranquility. Okay. Yep, Marlene. No. Marlene says no, thank you.
Because there's a little bit of that truth in there. I can't do it.
Well, I know what happens though. But you know what your joke. I know when they roasted me. Of course, they're gonna talk about my skinny legs. They're gonna talk about Me, talking all the time. All the stuff they're going to talk about. Troy, of course, my closest soldier, had the most.
Well, that's who's going to be the most right.
He did it like they do it on the roast. He actually wrote it all out and everything.
Okay.
All right. Now, speaking of roasting, what else you got, baby?
You wanted to talk about what this election is coming up. And while we, we don't really talk about politics because of our job, and we have to be unbiased, but until it's some crazy mess. And it feels like some crazy mess right now. It feels like we're living in an unbelievable time when the presumptive candidate for a major party is currently in court. And partly in a courtroom.
Yes, perched and waiting.
About hush money. And it's one of, I don't know, whatever it is, 90-something either cases, charges, and I don't have my notes in front of me, but it is like, what is going on? And
I think it's
so
the personality.
But now, and so your question, there was an article recently about Black voters. The headline here, this is from Al Jazeera, right? Which, Al Jazeera. Why are Black voters backing Donald Trump in record numbers? That's the headline. Why are Black voters doing this in record numbers? I can't see it. Anyways, trust me, it's there. And I think that because Trump made the statement that after his mugshot or whatever, I don't even remember because he had a lot of these didn't have a mugshot, but after that moment that the charges were brought and he was going to go to trial, and I don't have the direct quote, but paraphrasing it, that basically, it gained him respect from Black voters who felt like the justice system was stacked against Black people. So he's becoming, in his eyes, and maybe to some, a martyr of some sort, right? So
that's what he said.
Now that's what he said, but I just told you the headline.
Yeah.
The Black vote, the Trump Black vote. So it is interesting. What do you all think about that? What would be the attraction? I hear a lot from young people talking about when we were in COVID, and then so that stimulus check that you got for that, or if you're in a small business or a business to get back on your feet, that money that you got during these extraordinary times of COVID. So there was a video of when he went down to Atlanta, and he was at the Chick-fil-A near our daughter's school down there at the, at the Clarke Atlanta Morehouse mix. He's right there off campus.
Mm-hmm.
And, we don't care what anybody says. We love you. That was the sentiment. So it's interesting. I still think it has a lot to do with the fact that he is a huge figure in pop culture and had a TV show and had this persona, you're fired. That persona, take no prisoners. And I think that we, as Black people, not all, I'm speaking for what is in my experience, not for all Black people, but I think that some of us resonate with that because it is anti-establishment.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's it. But y'all, please, everybody, look, I'm not telling you how to vote, who to vote for. That's not my job. What I am saying is do the research. What has Biden done? What did Trump do? Where are we? What's best for all of us moving forward? What's best for Black business? What's best for, in my case, women, children, all of that. So please, y'all, let's do our research. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that story, I thought that story was interesting because it said around, 17%, that number around 70%. And so even the headline to me is interesting. It's why are they, what's the headline? It says, why are they backing in record numbers? So record numbers can be deceiving too.
Latest polls show 17% of Black voters would vote for former president today, more than twice the number in 2016. So that's the measuring.
In your Al Jazeera poll.
Yeah.
And again, you have to always remember the source. Remember, who have you ever been? Ask yourself, have you ever been asked a question? Have you ever been polled? Period. On any situation.
Kathy says Black people need to wake up. Trump doesn't like Black people. He does the right words to have some of us believe that he is for us and our family. And then right after that, we had someone say Biden Biden doesn't like black people. So
let me just tell you guys, nobody likes black people. No.
At the end of the day,
all the politics, but it's interesting. It is interesting to see how this plays out, because I think, unfortunately, where we are, I don't like where we are from a standpoint of when you just look at our elected officials who are all plus 70 plus.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. How do we get there? What happened? The choices are very weird. But again, I think most of us, we don't participate. And some of us who could be good leaders, we don't participate because of the political game. The political game and what it has to offer.
I think that we don't. I think it is a simple thing to do your research. I'm on whitehouse.gov, and this is the record. It's gonna show what people did in office. This is the record. This is an unbiased record of whatever. And just looking at some of the top accomplishments of the current administration. Now, because if you're out there buying eggs and they seem much more expensive, and things are more expensive, then you're just like, I don't know if I believe it. But the top one is lowering cost of families' everyday expenses. More people working than at any point in American history. Rebuilding infrastructure. The first meaningful gun violence reduction legislation in 30 years, but we're seeing so much gun violence still. It's hard. Protecting marriage for LGBTQIA plus and interracial couples, because they often blend that, right? Just one more, executive orders protecting reproductive rights. And then you go on and but we see what happened in the Trump years. We saw the Supreme Court, how so many justices have been put on the Supreme Court, the federal justices. So just do the research, y'all. It's do the research. It's right here. Now we have the internet and verified sites.
But also remember the source. Always remember the source.
Yeah, verified sites. Right.
Yeah. Even the verified sites, you have to. So we had a couple stories here that I thought was interesting. You have something else?
No, that was my last.
So this was, you saw this story. Now, Allison was a preacher's kid.
Still is, because my dad is always with me.
That's right. And so I'm sure we saw this story. This story has what everybody was talking about. Then it has the minister's response to what people are talking about.
Hey. Stop her. Hush, hush. Silence in the name of Jesus. I lift my hands into the only voice I want heard is his. Oh, praise.
Oh, tell me what happened there.
Well, social media is into cuts, not context.
Yeah.
And every suggestion that I got from every naysayer, I've already done. This is a 4-year battle, right?
Oh, this is ongoing.
This is ongoing. So I've already talked to her personally. I'd already had ushers go up to her. I've already had prayer warriors. I've had everything. So she did it publicly after being asked not to.
What is she? Is she crying? Is it an emotional break?
Well, as a pastor, I know the difference between disturbance and worship. And what people have to understand is that every time you hear a noise in church, it isn't worship. And so there has to be order. For instance, it's okay to applaud in this room right now. But if somebody got up and just started clapping right now, I'm sure somebody would bring order to the room.
Yeah.
And so what I did is I brought order to the room so people could hear God and not her. And I'd do it again if I needed to.
Wow.
No, sir. What you're not going to do, Reverend, is trick me in the middle of night getting sacred.
To what?
What you're not, Reverend, what you're not going to do is shush Big Mama while she's going. I'm sorry, you just can't. I don't think you can do that.
I don't either. I'm sorry, Pastor.
Maybe what's your face talking about?
I don't buy it. Okay, if she were talked to before, but she's still in, basically it looked like she was in the choir, and it's moving her in this way. And who is he to say how somebody like so my thing is this: we would have never known who she was until he went over and pointed, hey, get her. Okay, I mean, get Mary Elizabeth Watkins out of my church. We wouldn't have known. Okay, we wouldn't have known. And I feel like in that moment, that was like ego, because then he says, the only voice I want is the voice of Jesus right now, but you're doing your thing. So it seemed to me like it seemed very ego driven. I don't think in that moment it was an appropriate action in that moment. Maybe afterwards, well, no, baby, you're not going to be Elizabeth. You're not going to be in the choir anymore because I've spoken to you about it and you're being disruptive. And I don't believe you're doing it, in the name of Jesus. I believe you're doing it in the name of yourself. But for what? Because we wouldn't have ever known who she was. You know what I'm saying? She's been talked to. She basically wants attention. No, that would turn me off actually. But what does family say? I don't know. What does family say? Yeah, I don't like how she
Raymond said order. Raymond said order.
That's what right. It just
Alice said that was wrong.
Yeah, I didn't
now,
like
Gloria said, wait a minute, in truth, only the poorly educated
this is true.
you have to the respect for America. Gloria went hard.
Yeah.
What I realized, guys, I just want to say
this is finishing the Trump.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I realized, babe, you're right. We can't really go into my whole Trump thing. So we kept it pretty generic. We kind of kept out of it. I'm more passionate about.
I don't like
the topic.
but I don't. And here's what I will say, because we're our jobs depend on us to be unbiased.
Well,
and that's fine. But I think that this is something different than we're seeing, and it feels dangerous. It feels dangerous, and I don't understand it. I don't understand why more people don't see that. Like, I was in DC. You're in DC when the Capitol riot happened.
Yeah.
And to see this band of hooligans attack the Capitol building,
yes,
and to call for the vice president's head, to bring him out, to do a fake hangman's noose outside, and for it to be incited earlier, this is dangerous. Like, we've seen this before.
Yeah. Back
in the day, we've seen it, and I don't. And then the same group that is supposedly, ride so hard for law enforcement or attacking that day, we had Capitol Police die afterwards because, being crushed. Weapons being taken. One of the guys that Officer Harry Dunn being called the N-word. Come on. So we're unbiased, but there's some things that you cannot stand. That's that. So I'm really hoping that everybody does their research and those numbers turn around, because especially for these young people who feel like they got it all in the bag. Because Biden, what has he done? What is blah, blah, blah. Y'all, please educate your young people before we go to the polls. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's it. And back to the pastor. Yeah. I'm sorry. I think he was wrong.
Pastor Schiff's little Tina. Yeah.
Right. Like the way.
And even the tone. I think
the tone was unkind.
The tone was unkind. I'm a tone person.
And there was the thing back in the day. What would Jesus do? I'm sorry. Yeah. Look. But there's some things in the Bible where you're like, okay, Jesus was like, Jesus, when Jesus turned over those tables in the temple, he didn't, okay, there was a reason for the disruption.
You wow, Jesus.
There was a reason for the disruption, but that to me, it was a shaming, and I don't like that. So, and that what he did when he went on the Tamron Hall show with his wife and all that, it was a different way to handle it. Let me just say that it was a different way to handle it.
And have the whole girl out in front of the whole nation.
And to know, like I'm saying, she's in the choir. We wouldn't have known. Okay. You wanted to talk about, I guess our last topic before we get out of here is what's going on. So Shawnee never loved Shaq. Is Is that true?
We got a couple, babe. Don't be trying to push us out of here.
Right, I'm just trying to,
Yeah, so apparently in Shawnee's new book, Shawnee O'Neal.
Love you, Shawnee.
In her new book,
I want to be your friend.
She says, allegedly, and it's a great way to sell books. She didn't know if she ever loved
Shaquille O'Neal, Shaq.
If she ever loved Shaq.
Well, why? What is she saying that for?
I think she was saying because of what being married to a pro athlete is. I think all the time, out of town, multiple.
Okay, but she fell in love with them, or no?
Right.
So what did she fall in love with? Because you know what? The reason why I'm asking this question is because I really hate the whole gold digger, women chasing after athletes label that some women get.
Yeah.
I really hate that. Now I get it. I'm not naive. I know that some people are out there like courtside waiting to try to grab somebody when they come off the field or whatever. I get it. Okay. Trying to get your bag. I get it. Okay. But I think that some other people, you go into it thinking that this man really can be faithful, even though he's on the road, and women are throwing themselves at them all the time. And I think that some people think that. And I don't think there's anything wrong with thinking that.
Well, I think what she's saying is I fell in love with the idea of Shaq. You know what I mean? You probably, and that's also, let's keep it real now. I don't even listen to, I listen to these podcasts now, of course, by all these sports guys. And Chad always says the 1%ers, whatever. Now that I'm really breaking it down and listening to it, I realize it's not, I think we have a tendency to be like these pro athletes, we call like something, he would call somebody a gold digger, this or that. No, this is you're going to the stratosphere. You're going to a place that, like I say, only 1% of people are ever going to experience as far as the wealth goes.
Right.
You talk about Shaq, everything about Shaq, larger than life, as far as everything, you know what I mean? An unstoppable force on the basketball court.
Where's they doing 4 kids together?
Everything that comes with that, the fame, the glory, everybody wants you. And so I imagine most Michael Jordan's wife, so-and-so, everybody who has a Shaq type relationship.
Shout out to Cookie who thugged it out, baby. Okay, let me tell you something.
Hugged. And again, that's a different
thugged it out.
And that was before the money. So she was there before the money. See,
but he always had the fame.
Oh yeah,
they were in Michigan together.
Oh, yeah. And I think you said, I think they hugged it and thugged it out too.
Yeah.
Because they didn't just get married.
Not Cookie thugged it out.
No.
So let me say this. I was just reading a little bit about Complex, why she said that, because Wallace was saying
Wallace, your brother.
Wallace, my cousin, Wiz from high school days. She said, looking back, I don't know that I ever really was in love with him. I was in love with the idea of being married to the man that I had a family with. I was in love with the idea of building a life together. And I did truly enjoy spending time with him. Road trips allowed me to be with my husband and experience the NBA life for a little while. She said, Shaq has expressed regret over his infidelity, blah, 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 whatever. But
he said, I wouldn't have been in love with me either.
Okay. So there you go. But I think in the beginning, like when you think it can work out and okay, this man is who he is, but we can do it. And maybe at the beginning, then she felt like there was something that, because they didn't just like walk up to each other and, we got a family. There was a moment that they fell in love, or she fell in love or whatever. He did too. And so I think that's very brave, because I think women are demonized, but people are just waiting to jump on it.
Well, now, if you say I don't think I'm never in love with you, I don't know. Is that being demonized?
No, I'm saying she's going to get a lot of backlash for that.
Yeah.
I knew it. You were just in it for the money, blah, 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 whatever. So, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't like that. She's trying to be transparent.
Yeah.
She's going to get this backlash, and she knows it, I'm sure. But, she's living her best life. If you follow her on Instagram,
married, right? She got a new husband or whatever.
Yeah.
And maybe that's for that love. But what she does have is that money from that first relationship and those beautiful kids.
Yeah.
And I think, as long-term married people, I think,
they don't even put us in long-term married people category.
We've been married 24 years. What are you talking about?
My parents were married for 50. I'm not bragging on it yet.
What
But
percentage
give
of
me
people are
40
married
years.
for 24 years?
I'm not
Less than
saying
2%, I'm sure.
Oh, okay, but that's fine. But what I'm saying is, when I know people who've been married for like 60 years, I feel like I'm a junior in this game.
You can feel how you want to feel. I'm just saying we are long-term married people, baby. And what I'm saying is that question, like I said, what is love?
Mm-hmm.
You know, you say, like when you build a family with somebody, and you say, well, were you ever in love with that person? What does that really mean? That person never gave you that.
I think looking back, you're like, I think it's brave. I think it's brave of her to say that, because she could remain the victim in this. She could remain the one who was cheated on, the one who publicly had to go through all of this and whatever. But she said, you know what? I mean, I feel like it's taking a little bit of her power back, actually, by just saying, yeah, I got something out of it too. I had a family. And as she said, I got the NBA experience and all of that. But at the end of it, like, was I really in love? I think it's brave.
Is it brave?
And I ride with women. I'm a ride with women. Speaking of which, I'm going to say hello to you, Brandy. I saw you in here.
Brandy is a woman.
Yeah, I saw her in here. So hey, Shamira, I saw you in here.
DC,
hello.
Big Young, and 24 months is a long time, let alone 24 years. Let me see. Let me play this. I think this might have been the thing we were just talking about. I had a video. I didn't remember what it was. Let's see.
Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, this is another story. And maybe you actually know this one. Ready for this one?
Let's hear it.
We're talking about relationships.
His girlfriend.
Okay.
Her name is Laura Govin.
Oh.
I'll start it again.
Gilbert Arenas proposed to his girlfriend.
Okay.
Her name is Laura Govin.
Oh, I remember she was on Basketball Wives.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
He had a $400,000 ring.
Wait a minute. This must be an old story. Okay.
He had a $400,000 ring.
Okay.
And they broke up a week later after he proposed to her. Gave her the $400,000 ring. They broke up.
Okay, she keeping the ring probably.
She keeping the ring.
Mm-hmm.
He arranged a fake. He got back with her fake. I don't know how to say it. He started dating her for fake. In order to replace
he had a motive.
The ring.
Oh, he wanted to swap the ring.
He wanted to get the ring back with no problem. So he got back with her for pretend, just to replace the ring with a fake one.
What?
She only found out because he made a post about it on social media, which then prompted her to sue him, which she did, and she lost.
All right. Now,
Gilbert, you petty.
Now,
how much money did Gilbert Agent Zero? What was his name?
Oh, he made a lot of money. Yeah.
Okay, bruh, let it go.
Well, this is the thing about.
And shout out to Laura, because she's from here.
Yeah.
Right? She was married to Matt Barnes, right? Is that the same one?
I think so.
Let me do my research.
You know, the irony of her name coming up was Shannon didn't know that Gilbert and her had a relationship, and he was asking her about. Is she the young lady that has a relationship with the young player now? The 20-something-year-old.
You talking about Scottie Pippins?
No,
okay.
Another one. So he was asking Gilbert about her, but he had no idea that they had a past. So it was funny. Gilbert's face, he didn't say anything either. Gilbert just had a face. His face was just like,
he probably thought he was trying to set him up.
Right.
So yeah, Laura, go ahead, and here she is. Beautiful girl.
Does she have a sister?
Yeah, she has a sister.
Is that the one that has the baby by the NBA player?
Okay, now don't fact checker. Producer. She was married to I thought she was married to Matt Barnes back in the day. Yeah, they're there. And yeah, that's her sister. And she's from here. And I've actually interviewed her before. She's her sister's Gloria. Laura Govan says sister Gloria. Oh, Gloria was married to Matt Barnes.
Oh, okay.
So they both were married or dealing with these NBA people.
Oh, well, that's what they do. Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's what they do. They have relationships.
What are you saying?
They have relationships with NBA guys.
Why?
You know why?
Why?
Because the money. I get it.
Well, this is it.
I get it. I'm talking about. No, what I'm saying is that those are facts. What do you mean?
Okay.
Those are facts. She used to
not fight in front of company.
What am I saying that's wrong? They both have dated or been married to NBA players.
So you think that they sought them out because they're NBA players?
Not sought. Whatever they're doing is getting that money. That's all I'm saying. It's money, baby. It's money. That's what I realized. this is a money game. It's a money game. And so all those things like love and all that kind of stuff, it's lifestyle. I mean, why not? You know, I could be with this guy who's is a 1%er. And when it breaks up, as long as I have a child, I too will be a 1%er.
My God, you are the people that I'm talking about.
It's not, what do you mean the people?
The people that you are the person that I have a problem with.
What do you mean the people?
I don't know. I just
These
feel
are facts.
Okay.
These are facts.
All right.
And it's a coincidence. It's coincidental. What I'm saying, maybe, is they both have dealt with NBA players, though. Not just one or two. I'm just saying.
Okay, well, let's get back to the question at hand. Was Gilbert Arenas? Is that petty? Is that the most petty thing?
Yeah, for me,
because you're playing with her emotions over this $400,000 thing. You could have just taken that whole thing to court in the first place, but instead you tried to get back with her, pretended that you were trying to get back to just swap the ring or take the ring back.
I think sadly, that's childish behavior.
Yeah.
But it is the behavior of immature millionaires, which are what our athletes are. It's immaturity, you know. And so almost like our original question, when you're talking about these relationships with these pro athletes, how real are they?
Okay, let's talk about it. Let's get into it. The power of tranquility. Arlene, let's talk about it. So Arlene is making the point. Maybe you could bring her comment up.
Yeah.
I remember this being a super intense argument with an ex-boyfriend of mine who happens to be a national sportscaster now, right? And so he's somebody who was in the locker rooms all the time, somebody who knew the culture.
Wait a minute, you should date. What did you date?
And he was saying a Michael Jordan cannot be held to the same standard as a regular man as far as fidelity goes. This was a big argument that we would always have, because I said, yes, it can, or don't get married.
To him or to the wife?
Michael Jordan, he should not then get married. Why are you getting married? Let's flip it. Now Michael Jordan and all these other ballers, why are you getting married?
Well, because I think that's their conversation.
What?
I think Gilbert Arenas, if you listen to this podcast, right. They're not our parents.
So should they be held to the same standards?
That's your wife that holds you to your standards, not the people.
Should Shaq should he be expected to be a faithful husband?
That's between him and his wife.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying.
Arlene says the sexual libido of professional athletes is very high. The book Relentless by Tim.
Oh yeah, you're 20 years old and you're a millionaire. Yeah.
And people are throwing themselves
Everybody's
at you.
throwing. You've seen these brothers.
Okay,
so we're not in the NBA.
So you say no, they should not be.
I'm not saying that's between the people.
So if one of our daughters marries a professional,
you know what you're getting into.
Okay.
Now, what are you getting into? You're getting into a situation where, right, you're married to somebody that's not home nightly, and thousands of women throw themselves at them every day.
Well, that's why that one NBA wife was like, "Yeah, you going on the road? Well, guess what? I'm going on the road too."
Yeah. If you can't trust your husband, if that's the issue for you, then
it's like,
don't get married. Don't get married to no NBA player. If you don't trust, if that's important to you, you have to really think about that.
Do you think Steph Curry is faithful? Answer the question.
What did you say?
Do you think Steph Curry is faithful?
What did you say?
Do you think Steph Curry is faithful?
Women? I don't know.
Okay.
I can't vouch for another brother.
He is a star, one of the stars.
I can't vouch for
highly
Steph
visible.
Curry.
Okay.
I can't say. I would imagine the numbers of people who are faithful are very low. Okay. Very low.
Okay.
Get every color, every style of woman you ever want.
Some people
and
would
you
say
got all the,
a radio DJ can't be faithful.
Well, that's true. That's why, again,
Mister.
That's right. You have to ask me. Someone else can't say, was Marc Clarke faithful? Especially my girlfriend in Baltimore. No.
That's a joke because we were married then.
Because Babe always says that. But no, yeah, babe. And somebody looks at my Wallace said his daddy wasn't. You know, you're wrong. You're wrong now, Wallace.
Oh,
now.
Big Curry was not? Yeah. Right. We gonna put him on the spot now, fam.
That's a great big no.
Steph Curry. Yeah. I know I was disappointed when the Kobe stuff came out. May he rest in peace. Years ago, and I'm like, oh no, Kobe.
Now that was weird because that
rest in peace, though. I don't want to talk about the
that felt like
rest in peace.
But
rest in peace.
I guess so. That's what I'm saying, babe. Listening to these pro athletes and hearing this and seeing this rotation of the type of women that they marry. When we're generalizing,
the type of women.
Yeah, we're generalizing.
I'm not. You're generalizing.
No, I'm generalizing because no, it's the same. So, I too have a friend, not an ex-boyfriend, but a friend who's in this sports game, babe. The sports game.
Okay.
That we know.
Yeah.
And I remember he was saying, he's like, brother, you can't compete with these pro guys, these pro athletes. And like you said, as a civilian, you're like, what? Why would you be competing with pro athletes?
Mm-hmm.
Because they're these, I think sadly the game, just like some women have made the decision, I'm going to be with a person who's rich. Some guys have made the decision, I'm going to be with a girl that looks a certain way.
Yeah.
So there's a whole marketplace now that's the game that these people are playing. So now let's talk about, like I said, is that really love? If he got to make $8 million and she got to look like blah, blah, blah. Is that love or are you playing a different game? And so that's what I mean. So being in love with the idea of being married to a professional athlete, be in love with the idea of, I am not a good looking guy, but I've got the most beautiful person in the world. At least that's what society says, as we see this all the time. Mm-hmm. It's a different game they're playing. They're not playing. It's not like our parents. We were going to go to lunch. We're going to Italy. You know what I mean? They're like, it's lifestyle. They're not.
Yeah, I don't like to put people in boxes. That's all. And I think when you start to do that whole gold digger, or this is the model, you sort of. I mean, I guess there's some people out there looking for a check. That's it. Period. Yeah, but not
a lot of some, a lot.
Okay, but not for me. Not all. So that's all I'm saying.
Most people playing pro sports, I think, sadly, have come to the conclusion that this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I mean. That's what I think the game is. Okay. Which is, again, I've been, as I listen to their stories and watch this go down, like you said, like okay.
I feel like the reason why I asked you, and then we can go. I don't know if you have anything else, but the reason why I asked you that is because about you in being a radio host for 30 years is you see all kinds of people come in. Yes. You have a very visible. Had a very visible position in the community. Now you're on TV, and the same thing. I mean, so it's your choices, and I just won't believe that like you cannot basically keep your thing together and where it should be. That's an unfortunate choice. I'm talking about your whole vibe, your marriage vibe. Okay, not that thing. And
thank you for that clarification. She's a master communicator.
I don't think it's impossible to remember that you're married on the road and you got all the money in the world.
Okay.
If you really need some snuggle time, fly your wife in. And so you have a choice. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I'm done.
Babe, wait a minute.
I'm done. I'm done talking about it. That's it. That's it. What I said.
Babe, first of all, don't do the comparison for me with my little check and what's going on.
I'm not talking about your check. I'm talking about your status.
Yeah, but I'm
talking
older.
About your status. I'm talking about some
older.
People,
I'm not 20 in my 20s.
You were. What I'm saying is when you back in the day.
When I made it, I wanted to be married. I wanted to be married in the traditional sense of what marriage is, and I had the baddest chick in the game wearing my chain.
And all of these women that you see
on the
thing are the baddest. It does not matter about how somebody looks.
What I'm saying is you're right. The factor
Halle
is
Berry was cheated on.
Yeah,
a couple of times.
Facts.
It doesn't matter.
Facts. But I'm just saying the dynamics are different. Mm-hmm. When you're, like you say, when you're your understanding of what marriage is when you're in your 20s, you got all the money in the world versus somebody who's
just maturity
and wanting to be married. You know what I mean? And then that kind of thing. So that's funny. Yay, Daryl! Thanks, brother.
Oh,
Yes. Yes, Brandy. Thanks. You okay?
Can I say what Brandy did last week, or that would be embarrassing? Don't do it. I won't.
Brandy.
Brandy, just know that I love you. Thank you so much, honey. Okay, do you have another topic? So we can. What time is it now? We need to figure out our time. It's been an hour.
Any more comments as we wrap things up? Let's see. Oh, this is the last.
Okay, what is it?
This is the last one. I thought this was just my question for chat.
Chat bang bang.
Have you ever regretted your action towards someone? Have you ever regretted your actions towards someone?
Don't we all?
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Like I asked Allison. Yeah.
Oh, snap. Donnie Glover's in the house. What's up, Donnie?
What up?
Donnie, the newspaper legend, BeMoreNews.com. The news before the news. Donnie probably saw this. This was Maya Angelou's son talking about something that had happened, and it touched us.
Mother had a chance to do the understudy in Hello, Dolly, with Pearl Bailey as the lead. For my mother, it would have meant living continuously in New York without leaving me for at least a year. And it was regular money. The director and the producer both loved her. But Pearl Bailey came back and said, "Oh no, I ain't gonna have this big old ugly girl be my understudy." There are very few times in my life that I remember my mother crying, because this meant she had to go back out on the road and find other work. It was devastating, because I knew all the sacrifices my mother made to keep me. 35 years later, when Pearl Bailey was getting a Lifetime Award and they asked her, "Who do you want to give it to you?" she said, "Maya Angelou." And guess who gave it to her and never said a damn thing?
Thoughts?
He loves his mama.
Yeah.
And that voice gene is strong.
Okay, you know, well, have you been drinking tonight?
No.
You are funny.
He sounds just like his mama.
Yes.
Back to what we saw, though. Man, a woman's work is never done. That's just it. And we just go after each other. The worst thing, like, it doesn't matter what people call you, but it hurts like hell for someone very much in her same demographic back in that time.
Oh, yeah.
To call another woman, a Black woman, big and ugly.
Come on, man.
How rude, how nasty, and how petty. But at the end of the day, how to come back and have her present these accolades to her. What kind of twisted, like, sickness is that? Is the hatred and pettiness and jealousy so strong? And you know, I have a very dear friend, one of my best friends. I don't have many best friends, but one of my best friends, mother was in show business, and they had to be separated because the demands are very strong on women in show business with kids and that are single or what have you.
Yeah.
And you see how that affects a child, how it affects this grown man.
Mm.
You know, but what he saw, what he saw was Maya Angelou's her what is that? Her grace.
Yeah.
Her love shine through. So as awful as that memory is and that moment is for him and his mother back all those years ago, how awful it is, what an example his mother set for him. So he can't worry about it, and we can't worry about the haters. We hear it all the time. And I'm sorry, Pearl Bailey, I get it. You are who you are. Beautiful. Rest in peace. But that's some shady show business right there. and it's sad. And the emotion that it brought up in him, even after all these years later, because it hurt his mom. And you talk about this a lot. Your mom, you're seeing your mom injured. You talk about it all the time. Seeing your mom injured, probably feeling helpless in that moment. Probably him as a child just feeling like, that's okay. You know, I know you'll come back. And for that child, that boy child, to have to be left without a mother for the better part of a year when they could have had a stable home, I think it's cruel. And I like that he's coming out with this, because for me, yeah, okay, Pearl Bailey did what she did because you think there's lack in the universe, right? So it was fear, because Maya Angelou is so talented. It was probably fear that, oh Lord, if something happens, they got this chick on deck. So she probably went for a less talented person. That's the twisted thing that we have, right? But the bottom line is that that young man, now an older man, saw it. He's telling his truth. The world knows. And yeah, he saw his mom injured. And like I said, there's nothing. I think that we can all remember a moment, perhaps, when we see one of our parents, but especially your mom.
Yeah.
And then at the hands of somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
You need to give me a break. I'm happy he spoke out about it. And I'm going to throw all my Pearl Bailey records out.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not.
Yes, I
well,
am.
it also speaks to a lot of times you don't know. You know, a lot of times
you don't know what people go through.
You don't know. And also you
and
don't
I'm sure
know.
in that moment, I wish we could find that clip if it exists on YouTube. I'm sure in that moment she did her thing, and one of the great creators of our time, blah blah blah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm saying a lot of times you don't know. Look at Thomasina. What's he coming out with? Thomasina, I just played a clip. I just played a clip. Did I play it again? Thomasina is.
The clip spoke to the fact that play the first part. Play the first part, and then we'll say the whole thing. So basically, when Pearl Bailey was on Broadway years ago, they were looking for an understudy, and Maya Angelou was perfect for it. They wanted her for it, but Pearl Bailey came out and said that she didn't want that that big ugly woman as her understudy. And then 35 years, and for Pearl, for her to have gotten the gig, Dr. Angelou to have gotten the gig meant that it was a stable check for a year. She didn't have to leave her young son or her son alone for a year. She didn't have to go on the road and gig. And then 35 years later, when it came to giving Pearl Bailey some, accolade, lifetime accolade, she asked that Maya Angelou give it to her, which is kind of twisted when you think about it.
Well, let's keep it real now.
So that's what happened.
Yeah. In all fairness, I'm sure she didn't know probably anything about, what she was taking her away from. She just didn't want her for that. No, I'm not her.
No.
For the job.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
Yeah.
No.
What I'm saying is
she knew it was a prominent position for another woman who happened to be another Black actress at that time on Broadway.
Yes.
And she cut her chances of it.
Yeah.
It happens to all of us in
our
different
business.
positions.
That's what I'm saying.
Right. No, there's no excuse.
No. What I'm saying, baby, is I'm not saying she knew. And then if I don't give her this job, her child ain't going to eat. I don't think it works that way. I think she was like, nope, I don't want her in my role. That's what I think. That's how it probably was. You know what I mean? It's like when you're looking for the job. Marc Clarke, I need a TV job, and they turned me down, and I would have got us out of the process.
I wish that Dr. Angelou had then told her at the end, I'm not going to be able to do that. Why? Because the trajectory of my life could have been this. Now, who knows? It was probably before.
Right. It turned out to. That's what I'm saying.
There are no excuses.
In a business, it's show business. It's how it works. You lose jobs every day now. There's
no excuses for me. And let me also say that you've never done that on our smaller scale. You've never said, no, this person can't do this job. I won't want this person in the job.
No, I would never do that. I would never do that. No. Unless they were terrible.
Yeah. Is it a book? Yeah. Is he
no,
a book? Or
no.
What you talking about?
No, I think it was an interview by Oprah. I think it was a segment on an Oprah situation.
Okay. Yeah. Insecurities. Yep. Mark always says, hurt people.
But again, I'm just saying in show business, it happens all the time. You did not get the role. I don't have a job. Nope, you do not. Next. I mean, that's a part of show business.
Baby, do you think Maya Angelou said any of that in that interview? Hell no. She said, okay, thank you. And she left. And then she came home and her son saw her. Right. But she didn't like in that moment, knowing the character, the quality.
She didn't say anything.
Right.
That's her dad.
Yeah, so she didn't say anything.
No, what I'm saying is I don't know if Pearl Bailey knew all this is coming from the son part.
And I'm saying it doesn't matter.
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter.
No. Because you have to think about, what I've learned is and this will be my closing statements because I got to go back.
No, you can't go.
Because I ordered something from Macy's and they left the dang on security tag on it.
Guys, before you leave us, stick around. I have an announcement about this play you have to see this weekend. We have to see it this weekend. I totally forgot about it. DC Black Broadway's back. But go ahead. Your thought.
You just knocked the thought out of my brain.
Oh, I always tell the kids, you can't blame nobody for nothing.
No, you did.
Nothing. I knocked the thought out of your brain.
Okay.
No, you lost the thought. You lost your thought. I didn't do nothing.
I lost my thought. Y'all see how domineering and bossy y'all see it like the longer we stay on, what is it? An hour and 21 minutes. An hour and 21 minutes, you start to see the curtain pull back a little bit from who this man is.
Raymond, please help me here.
JK, just joking. Okay.
Okay. Rondi, where you at? I just saw you. Rondi.
Indeed. The effects of Jim Crow, indeed. I see your comment.
Yeah.
Fighting. There's no way in the world that give me a break. Okay.
DC Black Broadway this Friday and Saturday, the Lincoln DC, the theater, Chocolate City Records. Now, Dr. Lavelle is a genius and he's a part of the family. He's been super supportive. Rondi has been super supportive for DC Black Broadway, also for us. Specifically for me, Marc Clarke Media. And this weekend, guys, if you can make it out, the Lincoln Theater, I'm sure it's going to sell out because every show DC Black Broadway has had there is sold out. For those who don't know, Dr. Lavelle became a writer in prison. And he came out, he wrote a go-go version of The Wiz, The Giz.
Love it.
Sold out National Harbor, MGM Grand. Then he did a go-go version of Grease called Grease with a Side of Mambo Sauce. All sold out shows at the Lincoln Theater. I was supposed to, damn you, COVID. It might not be too late. I was going to play Uncle Phil in the Fresh Prince of Potomac.
Perfect casting.
The Fresh Prince of Potomac.
Perfect.
But it was canceled because of COVID, but it still could come back. But again, this is the first non-go-go. Chocolate City Records might have go-go music, but this is like an original storyline. And of course, the music's great. The DC references and the tie-ins are amazing, and DC has been very supportive. So come out and support Dr. Lavelle on DC Black Broadway Friday and Saturday at the Lincoln Theater in DC.
And if you need more incentive, check them out tomorrow morning on Get Up DC at about 9:10.
Oh, get it, babe. She segued it up.
Yeah.
Who knew? See how it works?
They'll be on the show tomorrow talking about the Mother's Day play presentation. Chocolate City, that resonates with me. I'm, spent most of my life here in DC. And remember when it was Chocolate City?
They really
I remember when the wharf was a whole lot different. All of it. So I'm excited to talk to them tomorrow, and they'll be on the show. It's if you're local, it's Channel 9, WUSA 9, the morning show that I'm on now, and it will be in our 9 o'clock hour, our new 9 o'clock hour, about 9:10. We'll have some folks talking about the play.
Good job, Rondi. Who knew?
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thank you so much as always.
We promise. I don't know what got into us. Like literally, we've been on here for an hour and a half. Okay. Next
your
week,
fault, Allison.
Next week, we're having a time limit. It's going to be 35 minutes.
Okay. Fine. All right. Well, have a great evening, everybody.
Love y'all so much.
Oh, yeah, we do. We do, Redhead. Send me your information to I Am Media. All right.
.com.
Send me your information.
Bye.
Small business owners,
Bye,
also
Matthew.
small business owners, send me your information.
Bye, Raymond.
I have something for you. All right? All right, y'all. Be good. Take care.
Bang, bang.